If you want to go plant-based but you're not sure where to start, this is the abridged version of my full plant-based game plan, a rapid-fire guide to get you up and running in 5 minutes time. Whether I can actually stick to 5 minutes is a different question, let's see. Step number 1, eat diversely from the 6 main plant food groups to better guarantee that you get all of the nutrients that you need. Number 1, of course, being our whole grains like brown rice, oats, and so on. Number 2, tubers, potatoes, sweet potato, and yams. Number 3, of course, legumes, so beans, peas, lentils. I throw tofu and tempeh, of course, into this category as well. Number 4, vegetables. 5, fruits. 6, nuts and seeds. You can also add herbs and spices as the bonus 7th group here as well. Now, having diversity from all of these food groups in your bowls and in your plate, not every single meal you eat, but let's say over the course of a day or days, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to avoid falling into any traps or nutrition gaps and blind spots, but certainly it gives you a much better chance without having to go too deeply in micromanaging your diet to ensure that you're having a balanced, nourishing, and satisfying diet. Step number 2, you would like to think this one is common sense, but I see this problem an awful lot. People falling into this trap that are very new to this lifestyle. We want to focus mostly, of course, directionally on whole plant foods and limit those vegan junk and alternative substitute products, the fake meats and the cheeses and the burgers. You know, take all those meat and dairy equivalent substitute items, since veganism has become considerably more so popular in the 10 years I've been doing it anyway. I've watched my local grocery stores go absolutely nuts with this stuff, and I turn over some of those nutrition labels, and I'm horrified by what's in this section and what sadly a lot of new vegans or plant-based minded folk are starting to eat. Generally speaking, we want to be directionally, as I say, focused on whole plant foods, higher fiber content, more nutrient packed, and most bang for buck in terms of calorie to satisfaction ratio. That's especially an important point if you're trying to slim down right now. Step number 3 I had to include because although it's overplayed, it is a genuine sticking point for people, and I want to empathize and work with that. But plant protein sources, these are so easy to come by on a plant-based diet. I personally love my tofu and my tempeh. TVP is a fantastic way to get a lot of protein into your diet if you are particularly athletic or breastfeeding right now, or you have muscle building goals. Seitan is an unbelievably lean source of plant protein, and of course our beans and lentils too, all adding protein grams to your daily totals. It really isn't hard with a bit of dietary planning. Step number 4, supplementation to support an otherwise very whole foods-led diet, as I've already promoted here. Number 1, I like to take omega-3 from algae oil. Number 2, vitamin B12, of course, you'll have guessed that one. And number 3, I like to take a vitamin D supplement, preferably with K2. There's an argument for other things. It depends how far down the rabbit hole you wish to go, and of course, there is an element to whereby this is obviously highly individualized, so you need to do that research as best suits you, and always seek your physician's advice, of course. This is my supplement stack, and I love, not that I think it's necessitous, creatine monohydrate for athletic purposes. Wonderful. Step number 5, because this is a rapid fire video, I don't have time to unearth a bunch of different plant-based recipes to give you some inspiration and a whole meal plan to get started with. That said though, I was still very keen to come up with some kind of template or framework that could be very practical to you watching this right now. And a basic meal template that was so useful to me when I got started, that provides a nice balanced dish of food anyway, is 1 cup of whole grains or potato, half a cup of beans, lentils, tofu or tempeh, up to about 2 cups of vegetables of choice, and then some small amount of a fat source. It might be half an avocado, it might be a sprinkling, a tablespoon of seeds over the top, or a tahini-based dressing. Of course, this is a savory dish, but I wanted to give you some kind of template to get started with. Needless to say, again, this is something that needs tweaking to your particular nutrition needs, but there's something to work with anyway to get started. Number 6, quick one to explain. Sadly, it's something people don't do, and this goes across the diet spectrum, of course, but I like, as a rule of thumb, to have 2 cups plus, in many cases, of dark leafy greens per day. My personal favourites being kale and spinach. Collard greens, really underrated as well. Step number 7, if you've subscribed to me for any length of time here, you already know I'm a massive fan of fruit. But in particular, what I want to highlight here is how I always, day in, day out, and I think I've mostly, 99% of the time, done this for years now, I always aim for at least 1 cup of berries per day. Unbelievable nutrient profile, rammed full of antioxidants, particularly I love blueberries. Again, as you know if you've been following me for some time. And lastly, step number 8, the final item on our checklist here before I give you 30 seconds of mindset advice to start adopting and winning on a plant-based lifestyle. If you want to fuel for life, you have to eat big. This is something people are cautious, understandably so, about, because if you want to lose weight, just eat less and move more, right? The rules change when you eat a lot of whole foods, especially a lot of whole plant-based foods. Now, of course, this depends on your transition to this way of eating relative to what you were eating before. But what you may likely find here is that lots of whole plant foods have a considerably lower caloric density than perhaps a lot of the things you're eating before, especially if you had a lot of processed junky food in your diet, but also then some of the more caloric dense meat and dairy items as well, the cheeses and the full fat milks and, you know, maybe the fattier cuts of meat in your diet and whatnot before. What you'll find is you get all of this volume, all of this voluminous fiber, all of these foods with, frankly, amazing self-limiting properties. These are all great advantages, especially from a weight loss perspective, as you can imagine. All of these foods with amazing advantages on a plant-based lifestyle, but it can drive your calories really, really low. And even if you want to lose weight right now, yes, it might be important that you're in a calorie deficit, of course, but you want to make sure that it's a sensible one and you're still getting enough fuel to feel amazing. I see a lot of people get this wrong. They switch to so many whole plant foods. Brilliant. Their diet is fantastic in terms of nutrients, but they're seriously under-eating on the calorie front, and it's only a matter of time before they crash and burn, and then they start blaming the diet rather than you were just under-eating, mate. That's it. I highly doubt we're still under the 5-minute mark, but I did promise you 30 seconds of mindset brainwashing to welcome you to the cult of plant-based. The thing I really wanted to say is, yes, this diet changed my life. Yes, good nutrition, as it should, does have medicinal properties and characteristics, like let's say. At the same time, it's no silver bullet and it's no magic pill. What I can tell you is the plant-based diet's potential is only as good as your own commitment, your ability to fight your own bad habits and unhealthy behavior patterns, and really stick to this process and find a way to make it stick to your lifestyle over the long term. It isn't going to magically transform all of your bad habits on its own. The internal work that no one really wants to face and no one really wants to do, but if you can make steady and realistic gradual progress with your cravings, with your emotional eating habits, again, with your unhealthy behaviors, with food, but also by extension with exercise, that's when you're going to win. Otherwise, it is going to feel like a bit of a fad diet to you as you're sort of papering over the cracks, just throwing on a plaster, because actually all these underlying behavioral habits, traits, limiting beliefs, etc., really hold you back from maximizing the potential that this amazing way of eating has. So I hope you found this one useful. I'll link some of my other relevant follow-up videos down in the description box below. And if you need help getting in your best shape ever, you can work with me one-on-one and lose 4 to 8 pounds per month, flatten your belly, and finally fit back into clothes that you haven't in years or decades, all whilst eating simple and realistic plant-based meals. If that's of interest to you, click the link down below or go to veganslimandsustain.com to learn more about what it looks like to work with me on my Vegan Slim and Sustain program. See you soon.